All right, welcome back to another episode of the Pac 9 show. We are recapping week 16, and we're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers versus the Washington Commanders. San Francisco
Yeah.
blows them out 37-20 after kind of a wild game. Both teams went into halftime tied at 7-7. And so, that's a lot of points scored in the second half. Our
hmm
predictions were a little, we didn't give enough credit to the Niners on how much they could score. You said 31-13. I said 21-13. But I think the Niners have showed us the past couple weeks that they actually can turn it on when they need to and score some points.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like, kind of typical Niners this season. The first half is kind of like, what? Like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, the second half is just amazing, and they score touchdowns every time. That's definitely how this game went. I thought,
Hmm.
I thought the first half was very competitive. Actually, the defense of Washington was very good. I can only really remember Chase Young. I was watching on mute, but I was watching. But yeah, Chase Young kept disrupting plays, and that whole defense, especially in the first half, they did really well. Um, and then,
Yeah, Fred Warner is, I don't know. That guy is just the heat right now, man.
and
Fred Warner is insane.
there was some clutch fourth and goal stops, or maybe there was one or two. But Fred Warner hit, man, that was a good one. Dre Greenlaw. It's tough to score on the Niners in a goal situation. Um, but yeah, I think overall we were just too much for them to handle, and I think with our
Mhm.
halftime adjustments and also just physically just getting tired of playing against this 49ers team that's so physical, I think it just took a toll, and they ended up putting Carson Wentz in at a certain point, which was
Yeah.
I forgot he was. I didn't even realize he could play. I thought he was still injured. He just been sitting there. What? So
Just kind of sucks, I guess.
I think he scored a touchdown and
Yeah.
but
No, in fact, the Washington receiving core got a lot of yards this game.
yeah,
Scary Terry was 4 for 77, Jahan Dotson 6 for 76, Curtis Samuel 5 for 52, Logan Thomas 6 for 35. Like they definitely spread the ball around. Then
yeah.
that's with Brian Robinson getting 22 carries. He just wasn't very productive on those.
Yeah, and those receivers are really good. I think they're
Hmm.
very underrated. They have three. Yeah, those three with McLaurin, was it Dotson and
Yeah, Dotson,
Samuel.
Samuel. Yeah,
Those
all of
guys.
them got a touchdown.
Yeah, they all killed us. And what they were doing, and this is the Niners' weakness that's gonna come back to bite them at one point is the deep balls. The
Hmm.
throwing 50 yarders that tends to be successful. And so I'm sure once we play these quote unquote powerhouse teams, that's gonna be something that's gonna have to get dealt with.
I mean, what
Um,
else can they do? Your Pat or your rush defense is insane.
yeah,
I wouldn't want to run the ball that much against the Niners. I'd be throwing it too. But
yeah.
you guys can throw it as well, man. George Kittle, 6 receptions, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a game we were all looking for out of Kittle.
And he actually, I just remember they revealed that he actually stole that touchdown pass, the first one. That was supposed to be to Ray
Hmm.
McLeod, but they were just both in the same area, and Kittle just got it. So for those fantasy owners, you could thank Kittle
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah,
uh,
man. And you guys are just so solid at the top of the NFC West now. You guys totally clinched it, and it's looking good for the Niners in their playoffs. That's for sure.
yeah, I think now it's just about getting healthy. Debo may be coming back this week for a game. I'm if I mean I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure we're probably just gonna rest our players in the last week.
Mhm.
We'll see though. We'll see how that ends up playing.
Especially if if we get into the playoffs, we're gonna face you in the first round probably.
Yeah, yeah, it might end up being that way. Which, if you've been keeping up with the podcast, you know that I was saying the Packers were the hottest team like 3 weeks ago, and
Mhm.
it looks like they're coming for everyone. So yeah, speaking
Yeah,
of the
speaking of the
Packers,
yeah, our predictions were almost on point. You said 23-20, and I said 24 to 20. Or no, I think you said 20. I think you said no. I have written here 23-20, but maybe you said like 28-20. I can't remember now. And I did 24-18,
mm,
and final score actually was 26-20. Packers coming off with a great victory against the Dolphins. It was super tough going into halftime. we were down 13-20, but then we got the ball, made an 11-play drive, 7 minutes, just taking the clock like we like to do, ending up in a touchdown that ties the game. And they missed the field goal too. That was a crazy part. And then of course, the big story that Tua ends up throwing three interceptions. And
Yeah.
and each one of those was just such a drive killer. It gave us plenty of time to get down to the field.
I would
And we
not want to
shut him
be.
out. We shut him out in the after halftime.
I would not want to
So
be a Dolphins fan.
yeah, on Christmas too. And
Yeah.
the rest of your games coming up are so important too, because you are playing against the Jets and you're playing against uh the Patriots.
Yeah.
So that's like a pretty big deal for your division standings at the end of this.
Yeah, so they had a lot to play for. I thought the Packers, they came in and they did a great. Well, at first, to me, they were kind of messing it up. The first half was a little shaky, but then they
It
came
was
back,
ugly.
came back in the second half, and I didn't even notice this, but the defense didn't let the Dolphins score at all. I think with this Mike McDaniel offense, these kind of timing offenses, I think the Packers just figured it out, and they just Alexander got a good one. All of them were just kind of, maybe it was because he had a concussion. I also heard that he was calling out the wrong plays. Uh,
Dude, it was strange too because like in the first half we were getting run over by Raheem Mostert, and then of course Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill both had these two crazy uh, long touchdowns.
mhm.
Actually, Tyreek's wasn't for a touchdown, but it was a 52-yard reception that led to a touchdown. And it just didn't look like we could do anything against them, and they kept throwing the ball. And like once um, halftime was over, and they just stopped rushing it. And everybody knows, at least I thought that everybody knew, that if you want to beat the Packers, you just run the ball on them. And they just stopped doing that, and that led to three interceptions.
Yeah, I think when they have those caliber receivers, you feel like you got to feed them the ball, and maybe they got away from that run plan. Good thing for the Packers though.
Well, but the bad thing for the Packers is that Christian Watson got injured and went out in the middle of the game. He
Yeah,
didn't return. And if he's not back for next week, then we are in serious hot water
yeah,
going against, because we need to put up points against the Vikings. Absolutely. And Christian Watson is a huge part of that now. So
yeah. With
I hope he gets better.
him and Dobbs and Lazard was playing, and then Mercedes Lewis had that touchdown that I guess from what I heard from Rogers was just that's definitely the last option of the play. And so it's just really, Rogers was slinging the ball. He had a couple
Hmm.
missed throws, but some of those throws he was doing, and he was running around too. He's really in there trying to win. That's why I think the Packers are pretty dangerous when you got Rogers kind of with that type of determination.
Yeah, man. And I love Mercedes Lewis. I'm glad that he got that touchdown in the last game.
Yeah, that was cool because he's. I mean, what is he? Is in his mid-30s right now, right?
I think it's like 35 or 36, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
impressive.
He's storied, man.
Yeah,
He might be a Hall of Famer. Hard to say.
yeah.
I have to look at his stats a little more.
He's up there in like top tight ends of the generation, of
Yeah.
our generation at least for sure. Yeah, yeah.
All right, and let's talk about the happiest and saddest fan bases this week. Alex, who do you have as the saddest?
For me, I'm going with the team that we were just talking about, the Dolphins. Getting that loss on a Christmas day. Finding out Tua had a third concussion. Well, technically two, but we feel like three of the season. That's a lot for a quarterback to have. They're talking about maybe
Hmm.
shutting him down. All of a sudden, Teddy Bridgewater is cool, but you've lost. How many have they lost in a row? They've lost quite a bit in a row here. So we'll see if they even make the playoffs. They might not. Even, so this
They
is
might not
all
even make the
this.
playoffs.
All this stuff is they started off hot, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden they're not.
just a classic Dolphins meltdown in December.
Yep.
Yep.
What about you?
And I'm gonna go with the Broncos, man. This
Oh yeah.
team,
Oh yeah.
this team is just the most train wreck season I feel like I've ever heard. Right? And they finally fired Nathaniel Hackett too.
Imagine getting
And so,
fired the day after Christmas. Oh my
imagine
god.
losing 51-14 on Christmas against Baker Mayfield.
Man.
Jeez, it was just over and over again with the Broncos, man. They threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, that's just it's just not good. And they barely have any draft picks. Oh man, these poor Broncos.
Who knows what they're gonna do, man? They're dumpster fire.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, they're not looking good at all.
Yeah, I'm not even serious. I have no faith in them for next year either.
Yeah.
And who do you have on the opposite end of the spectrum? Who's your happiest fan base this week?
Happiest fan base. I had a couple to choose from this week. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, they had a very strong win against the Eagles. Now, be it wasn't with Hurts, but they still put up 40 points on the Eagles defense, and they looked pretty good. T.Y. Hilton looks to be a good addition to the team, adding a little bit more of a deep threat, and you know, everyone talks about not wanting to play the Niners. I don't want to play the Cowboys. That if we can avoid the Cowboys, I think that's great. But they're looking pretty good with the offensive firepower, and they have defensive firepower. So
Yeah. No, the Cowboys are looking like they could be a real threat in the postseason. But
yeah.
as a Packer fan, have no faith in Mike McCarthy. So, and I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Jets
Yeah.
19-3. Man, they needed that win over the Jets in particular too for playoff shit down the road, and now they're leading the division in the AFC South with a floundering Titans close behind. And I don't know. Trevor Lawrence seems like he's settling in. Travis Etienne seems like he's settling in. Evan Ingram got over 100 yards last
Oh
week.
wow.
I know, man. And so I don't know. Like they look a little frisky.
Yeah, they could make. I didn't even know till yesterday they were leading the division. Now it's an interesting
Yeah.
team. Trevor Lawrence is he's thrown the ball this year pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. From what I've seen, he's thrown it. That team is good under the coaching. Shoot, what's his name? Can't. He used to coach the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. But yeah. They're looking
Oh,
pretty good. Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember his name,
yeah.
but he's the coach
Wait.
now. Oh, Doug Peterson.
Yeah, Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
Right.
Doug
Yeah.
Peterson's doing a great job right now out there, and all of a sudden they could make some noise. Um, so yeah, we'll see that's going to be an interesting division now that Tannehill's out for the season. So it's all for the Jags taking, I think.
Yeah. Well, Colts and Texans are mathematically eliminated, and
Yeah.
and the Jaguars are the only team in the division with a positive point differential. So
Mm.
they've won 3 in a row, and Titans have lost 5. You
Oh
know,
my!
like
Oh my God! Damn. Maybe
yeah.
you should have put the Titans as the saddest. Damn.
Oh, I know they're they're feeling the heat right now.
Man.
All right, that'll do it for us in the Pack 9 show. Feel free to like and subscribe and tell your friends about us and watch our other shows, and we will see you next time.